Okay, let's start. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Now I received a very interesting question, okay, regarding knowledge and this. And the question was, Karma Yoga, we are supposed to be having this Ishwararpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi. And if that is the case, in the ultimate analysis, what we saw in the second chapter, Ishvara is non-different from me. So, to whom are we going to have this Ishwararpanam and Prasada Buddhi? Is it to myself? Interesting question. Okay. Remember, there are two levels of this teaching. One, what we call as yoga, and the other Brahma Vidya. Yoga Shastra is that which helps me to get my mind ready to know the truth. Brahma Vidya is the knowledge of the truth. When you look at it that way, Karma Yoga, with its attitudes of Ishwararpanam and Prasada Buddhi, is to get my mind ready, to live my life in such a way that my mind is ready to understand and own up the truth. Therefore, when I am in Karma Yoga, I have not yet fully understood I am Ishvara. I may have had some insights into it. Maximum will be some insights. Therefore, it is necessary to have this buddhi where I have not yet understood Ishvara is myself. If I have that, then as we saw in the second chapter, it doesn't matter what type of a life I lead. Nothing matters. What does it matter? Or as Bhajagovindam says, Yogarato va bhogarato va. I am living a life of yoga or living a life of bhoga. Sangarato va sangavihinaha. Always in the company of people or alone by myself. Yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandati. One whose mind revels in Brahman, that person he revels. He understands what's all about. Therefore, once you gain the knowledge, your lifestyle is not important. Some of us do take on these robes even before the knowledge is very clear. I mean, before we have owned up the truth sometimes. And sometimes afterwards. If you are taking sannyas a bit late, then after you know the truth clearly. Why? They're just declaring to the world, hey, here is a person, like, if you have a heart problem, you will go to a cardiologist. If you have a gynec problem, you will go to a gynecologist. If you have a spiritual problem, here is the guys, the uniform declares it, you can go and understand it. Your spiritual knowledge you will get from that. It is just like that. Just for the wise person, it's only that much. Therefore, Karma Yoga is meant for the ignorant man, for the ignorant person trying to know the truth. Therefore, he cannot say Ishvara Hom, etc. That is out of the picture. Okay? So, Karma Yoga you do with when you don't know the truth, you have taken yourself to be a finite person, you are taking yourself to be a karta bhokta, a doer, playing many roles, Therefore, to handle that mind of yours, you live a life of Karma Yoga. Then, along with that, when you are learning the truth, a time comes when the truth is very clear. After that, it doesn't matter anymore. Then the second part of the question was, we should be having a sense of non-doership. You can't command a sense of non-doership by a should or a must. Don't convert the teaching to a should or a must. Non-doership, freedom from action, is the nature of the Atma, as we will discover. Next two chapters make that very clear. That is meant to be discovered. Please do not try to bring in an attitude of non-doership in your life without knowing the truth. You will end up in problems. I am not doing, Bhagavan is doing. You better accept responsibility for what you have done. Don't say Bhagavan is doing. Don't blame him for what you have done. No, you have done, you are responsible. If you don't know the truth, you have taken yourself as a karta bhokta. Apparently, you are a karta bhokta. Karma phala will come to you. You can't have an attitude, I am not doing. I am not doing, I am free from action is something that the nature of the Atma which I have to discover. It's not an attitude. Akartrutvam is not an attitude. The closest you can come to Akartrutvam when I don't know the truth is Karma Yoga, Ishwararpanam, Prasada Buddhi. Oh Lord, this is it, this is what I am doing, all that I am doing I am offering to you. Oh Lord, this is the result, Karma Phala, whatever comes I am willing to accept it. Prasada Buddhi. Don't confuse the two levels. Don't try to bring in Kartrutvam or I am everything as an attitude. It's not an attitude. That's the result of knowledge. Whereas Karma Yoga is attitudinal. Is this clear for everyone? Or are there any doubts or questions? Any doubts, any questions? Hey. Sound of silence? No, not acceptable. Unless when I am talking, when I ask a question, yes or no. Clear?
Yes,
Okay. So, can we go ahead then? Okay. Then we are seeing the fourth verse in the third chapter. 3 verses we saw. How there were 2 lifestyles. Both are from the standpoint of a seeker, of a student. Vivek, why can't you hear clearly? Just check your connections and check whether your mic, whether it is turned on properly. Anyone else having a problem of not hearing properly? Okay, all right, fine. Then, okay. Now, he is talking. Remember what I said? That sannyasa is when there is only one priority left in your life. Karma Yoga is when you have a lot of priorities in your life. Therefore, when you have a lot of priorities, you have a lot of desires to fulfill, etc., responsibilities to be taken care of, you lead a life of Karma Yoga. Now, here in the next few verses, Krishna is making an argument for Karma Yoga, at the same time highlighting the differences and the similarities in both the lifestyles. Okay? Did we, which was the last verse we saw?
6th verse, Guruji.
6th verse we saw, correct.
7th verse.
Karmendriyani samyamya manasa smaran, we saw that one. The 7th verse we saw last time, correct? 6th verse. 6th verse and 7th also. That how the one who masters the sense organs and does karma yoga, does those actions, is better than somebody who's a hypocrite in the 6th verse, correct? 7th verse extolled the role of karma yoga, and the 6th verse was criticizing the hypocrite. This much we saw last time.
Swamiji, we did the 8th verse.
Beg your pardon?
We did the 8th verse.
Sorry, you are not clear to me.
Sorry, we did the 8th verse I said last time.
Okay, we chanted till the 8th verse. We didn't do the 8th verse. Correct. 7th verse we completed. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 7th verse we completed. So the 8th verse he goes ahead. Any questions up to the 7th verse, or is it clear? Okay, clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, then the 8th verse is saying, because of what he had said in the 6th and the 7th verses, in the 5th, 6th, 7th verses, that one, action is inevitable, your desires will pull you to actions. Second, if as an act of will you prevent yourself from doing something, when you have desires inside, then that you are being a hypocrite in life. Okay. Therefore, it is better the person who tries to fulfill his desires with an attitude of karma yoga is better than the hypocrite. This much in a brief summary, one line summary of each of the verses. Based on that, he is saying the next 8th verse. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hi akarmanaha sharira yatra picha tena prasiddheda karmanaha. Therefore, niyatam kuru karmatvam. Therefore, it is better for you to do karma regularly. What has to be done, please do. Karmo jyayo hi akarmanaha. Karma, doing karma is better than not doing it. By not doing it, you have desires. But I am not doing anything. Your ideal condition for frustration, that's all. See, karma phala comes to one who has done it. If you want something, you have to do something about it. Okay? There is no Santa Claus to come and give it to you. That's a myth. Okay? In spite of all the Santa Claus movies we see on the TV, it's a myth. No Santa Claus coming to go and give you something. If you need something, work for it. Okay? Niyatam karma kuru. Not only that, he says, Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddheda karmanaha. Your Sharira yatra. You have a prarabdha, you have to live a number of years. That also will not be possible if you are not doing karma. Why? You have to take care of this body minimum. Regular bathing, food, exercise, sleep. All this become necessary. All these are action. Okay, sleep you can slip out of it. Everything else are actions only, no? Taking care of the body. Therefore, nobody says can remain without doing something or the other. Some things he has to do. Yeah. If you don't do what you are supposed to do, you will do what you are not supposed to do. How you will wonder how many homemakers, wives, have come and told me, Swamiji, my husband is retired, he is sitting at home and he is driving me up the wall. But all these years I managed the kitchen very well. Now he is coming and trying to organize it as though it's an office. See, if you are helping her, big thing. Very good. Excellent. Nice thing. Not big, but it's a good thing. Good. But if you are going to drive her up the wall by your help, better not help. Okay? Yeah. Ask her, what do you want me to do? And do that. Okay? Yeah, and do that. Don't start reorganizing the masalas and this thing as though it's your files in your office. It won't work well. Okay? Yeah, it won't work well. If you don't do what you are supposed to do, then you will do what you are not supposed to do. If you are retired like that and you can't remain without doing anything, pick up some social work, pick up some community work, at least join up with the ALM and start taking care of the roads, etc. Things like that. Okay. If you can't do, if you don't know how to sit quietly without doing anything. Okay. Therefore, he says, Sharira Yatra adi na prasiddhed akarmanaha. Therefore, karma has to be done. Then he is making another point here. Okay. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणो न्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेयः मुक्तः संगः समाचरः. But karma binds. Karma has a nature. It's true. Karma has a nature of binding. Because karma phala is there, you are bound by it. Because you can't avoid it. For what you have done, your baby now, you have to accept it. Yeah. You can't say, I don't want it. Plus, the very nature of action is to involve you and to get into more and more involved. Natural. Therefore, he says, Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. In this world, we are all bound by karma. Then how to free yourself from that? He says, Yajnarthat karmanaha anyatra. Karma bandhana, all right, other than, done without or not for the sake of a yajna. What is a yajna, by the way? Most of you are in Chambur, I think, are known. I know what a yajna is. What is a yajna? Anyone care to volunteer some information? What is the yajna?
Offering to the gods.
My God, sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? Goats? Like for Eid? Okay.
Offering to the gods.
An offering to the gods, okay. To Ishvara, one God. Okay. What exactly do you mean by an offering?
In the context of Ishvara Arpanam, it should be action.
I am talking about a yaga, a yajna. Okay. In what is known as the Vedic religion, which later on was called as Hinduism, and which now people are trying to revert to a better name called Sanatana Dharma, not Sanatana Sanstha, okay, Sanatana Dharma, okay, which people are trying to revert to that. Before the Mahabharata, all worship was purely Vedic. In Vedic worship, there weren't many forms of Ishvara. Ishvara was invoked in many aspects. Okay, no gods, no plural. In fact, even the word God has got its own problems. Ishvara, Bhagavan, good words to use. Okay? Because when you use the word God, it's a very Abrahamic concept. It's a concept of Occidental religions. So you always imagine some guy sitting up somewhere. I don't want you all to do that. Once you understand and you're using it, it's okay. Okay? Ishvara. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. The non-dual intelligence and material for the whole creation. That Ishvara was invoked in various aspects. As Rudra, Shiva, Mangalakaraha Shiva, Vyapnoti Sarvan, it is Vishnu, Ganesha Artha, Atharva Sirsha, part of the Vedic lore. All this is there. But there was no Murti. There was no Murti. I don't like to use the word idol, okay? Idol, then we become idolaters and idol worshippers. No. We are worshipping Ishvara. For that we are using a support. That support is called a murti, a pratima. That's fine. Okay. Now, in those days, there were no murtis, there were no pratimas. There was only a yaga, a yajna kunda, a four-sided structure of bricks was built, and there are particular dimensions, generally square, generally. Okay, there are other shapes and forms also, depending upon what the yaga is. Generally, four sides, a square, where you light the fire, Agni is invoked, and the Ishvara in that particular aspect is invoked, and the worship is done, which will involve offering certain things. What you will offer is decided by the nature of the yaga and the nature of Ishvara in what aspect you are invoking. It's all very well, very cleanly laid out in the Agama Shastras. Very cleanly laid out. Okay. It is not like this modern, what do you call that? Arya Samaj Havans. Whether it is birth or death or wedding or anything, they only have Havan. One Havan they will do. Mantras are same. Birth or death, mantra is same. Wedding or death, mantra is same. I think that I can understand. Okay. No. Different mantras depending on whom you are invoking. Like if you want wealth, you will do an Ashtalakshmi Homa, Kubera Lakshmi Homa. Therefore, the offerings will be different, the invocation will be different, mantras will be different. If you want health, etc., an Ashwini Homa, Kumara Homa, again everything is different. If you want better luck, etc., Navagraha Shanti. In a Navagraha Shanti Homa, for every Navagraha, Ishvara invoked in 9 grahas. For each of them, the offering is different. The sticks used are different. The sticks that are offered for the fire to burn is also different. Naivedyam is different. Everything is different. This was a yaga, a yajna, meant to give you karma phalam. Therefore, he says, therefore it was that worship. After Mahabharata, Vyasa thought Kali Yuga is starting now. It will be more and more difficult for people to do a yaga. To do a yajna, etc., or a homa, it will be very, very difficult for people. Therefore, he wrote the 18 Puranas. And the form of worship became more Pauranic in its outlook. More Pauranic. Where you had a murti, instead of an abstract fire, and you are invoking the Devata in that fire, in that Agni, and making offerings to the Agni, so because that will take it to the Devata, you started having a murti, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, etc. Some murtis were very peculiar, like the linga, no form, or like the Sri Yantra Meru, the original pyramid. They are different. They are meant for different types of worship. Therefore, the worship later became Pauranic, and today most of our worship is Pauranic in nature. The Vedic worship we do, when you do the Yajnopayodam once, if at all people do it, and marriage. That's all the Vedic worship. And of course, death. So where somebody else does it for you anyway. You are not doing it. You are doing it for somebody else. More than this, very few Vedic rituals in our life now. If you want to really see good Vedic rituals being done, one place where I know it's authentically done, going to the Navaratri in October, hopefully by that temples etc. will be opened up and we'll be able to go to temples etc. In Shankaramatam, for 9 days they have elaborate Vedic homas morning and evening. Anyone wants to go and see it, can please go and see it. Participate in it as well. Hopefully they should open up by that time. Anyway, so there are Vedic homas, they are called yajnas, and Puranic worship is what we are doing now. Therefore he says, if you are doing all the karma with the spirit of a yaga, what is the minimum that is there in a yaga? You are offering something to the Lord and taking what is given as prasada. Therefore, Ishvara Arpana and prasada buddhi. If you do your karma with this attitude, yajnartham kuru karma tvam karmo jyayo he karmanaha. Okay, sorry. Yajnata anyatra karmanaha. Other karmas than that which is done for a yaga will bind you. Meaning that which is done without this buddhi is binding in nature, but not if it is done with Ishvara Arpanam and Prasada Buddhi. Therefore he says, Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Therefore that type of karma with Prasada Buddhi, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, samachara, take to that. Muktaha sangha. Muktaha sangha means without dependency. Okay? Without dependency. Why? Because you already become bigger than the desire. See, if you have karma yoga buddhi, you are not dependent on the desire anymore. You have become bigger than the desire. Why? You are willing to accept failure as prasada. Success is also prasada, failure is also prasada. If you are willing to accept failure, have you not become bigger than the desire? Therefore, mukta sangha, he says. Mukta sangha. Samachara. In short, what? Take to a life of karma yoga. It will not bind you. Why? Swamiji, that means if I do with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi, I won't get karma phala. You will get. You will get. But in the process of doing it, you will get a mind which is ready to understand the truth. And once you understand the truth, you are free from this whole problem of karma. For that, this becomes the means of getting your mind ready so that with the knowledge, you become free. Freedom is only in discovery, knowing what you are. But that knowing, you require a mindset. And that mind, you will gain by Karma Yoga lifestyle. Clear? Or any doubts? See, I can't see you all. So I have to keep asking whether it's clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If there are any doubts, please ask, okay? Because I can't see everyone. I'm doing it on a phone. My tablet went to the repair shop before the lockdown and it is still closed. So I don't have it. So I can't see all of you. And I don't think even on a laptop I'll be able to see all of you because there are about 40 of you all here. So I can't make out whether you all understand or not. Therefore I am asking. Okay, please respond when I ask whether it's clear or not. Okay.
Swamiji, I have one question.
Shoot.
Yeah. If, we are accepting of our failures, where do we get the incentive to really succeed? The motivation to, overcome that failure and succeed if we become accepting of the failures that we face?
1 second. Can you repeat that question, please? Good question. Good question. If you are willing to accept failure, how will you get the motivation to succeed? Why did you initiate the action in the first place? Exactly. You have a desire and you want that fulfilled, correct? And that desire is linked with your priorities. Remember, that's what Karma Yoga is. Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi. That desire is linked with your priorities. Priorities are very important to you. Therefore, fulfillment of that priority is important. The importance of that priority will give you the motivation to do a good job, to try your best, because it's important. Prasada Buddhi will ensure you are not depressed or upset or worried when you are doing the action. Can you see that? You have the drive, you will have the drive, but unlike someone who's driven, you are not driven. You have the drive, all right. And what is the difference? The difference, if you are driven, you are the slave, not the master. If you have the drive, it is your drive, your choice, your will, because you are doing it. Why are you making a half-hearted effort? Then don't do it, now forget it, it's not important to you. Why waste time, do something else? Can you see, when it is linked with your priorities, you have the drive, all right, because it's important to you. You recognize its importance in your life. Therefore, you have the drive to do it. That is your motivation to succeed. Nobody, no Karma Yogi works for failure. But if that is what is going to happen, he will gladly accept it. And when others are sitting down and crying and rejecting that failure, this guy will think, hey, what happened? What went wrong? He'll learn from that and then decide, is it worth a second effort? Yes, it is worth it. Go ahead. Where others are still crying over it, he has started his second attempt. He has the drive, but he is not driven. But that worry, anxiety, etc., which is what the stress of a working job is. Working 12 hours a day is not a stressful thing. That only makes you tired. If you are working 12 hours a day, there are days when I have put in 18 hours of work. Okay? That is not stressful. That makes you tired, so you get a good night's sleep. Okay? That is not stressful. What is stress? The worry, the anxiety, the fear of failure. Those are the things that is stress. That is all removed. Karma Yogi. No problems. You put in all the effort. You have the drive. You can succeed well without all the worry, anxiety, etc. Great way to work. In fact, the only way to work. You can work without heart attacks. You can work without cholesterol going up. You can work without getting diabetes, etc. Great job you will do. And because it's linked with your priorities, you will not be running around like a headless chicken trying to do everything. This is one thing. Just because I'm interested in 100 things doesn't mean I should do 100 things. You go by your priorities. And if you're going by your priorities, you find you have a lot of time to do everything. You're not running around like a headless chicken. But remember, it's very important to understand how you pick what you're going to do. This person used to off and on come to my class, okay? The guy was a casual student. Come once, disappear for a month, come again 2-3 classes in a row, then another 2 months I won't see the guy. He was like that. Okay? And health was very important. So you know what all she used to do? Every day she'll go cycling, morning. Health. Good. She'll practice a form of martial arts. Very good. Then also practice Tai Chi. Very good. Then practice yoga. Good. Also do dance. All for the sake of health. This is what I call running around like a headless chicken. Along with full day work. Running around like a headless chicken, because any discipline, any of these disciplines, if you take martial arts, Tai Chi, yoga or dance, they are demanding disciplines. If you really have to do it well, they are demanding. You have to give it time and effort. And do any one of them, your health is taken care of. You don't have to do all these 4 or 5 things. If your priority is health, you may be interested, so what? You are interested in everything. I am interested in the whole world. I can't do the whole world. Are you getting the idea? Yeah. Therefore, you have to choose. and have the drive to make it work. Because it's linked with your priorities, it's important for you. If health is important to you, you'll find the time and effort to take care of it. Even in the lockdown, you'll take care of your health. No? See that you're eating healthy, not all the junk and putting on weight. Yeah. See that you had enough time to a good workout. Oh, gyms are closed. So, you need a gym for exercising? When do you need a gym for exercising? I can't go for a walk. So what? There's so many ways you can exercise. Body weight exercises at home. All you need is 6x6 place, that's all. All sorts of body weight exercise you can do. Take care of your health. Which floor are you living? Third floor only, Swamiji. My building is small. Go up and down half a dozen times. Up and down the stairs. You get very good stamina. Who needs to go to the gym and use a stair climber? You'll go to the gym and use a stair climber. When you got all the stairs at home. Run up and down a few times. No? Swamiji, I stay on the 22nd floor. Do it once enough. Take the lift down and climb up once. Both okay. If your priority is there, you will have the drive to do it. The drive to succeed will come from your priorities. And Prasada Buddhi Ishwararpanam will take care of all the other negativities that are there. Therefore, your karma doesn't become a bondage. Karma phala is still there. That is true. That final freedom you will get when your mind is ready and absorbs the truth, the knowledge it absorbs, you're free. Is that clear? Yep. Yes. Exactly. Most of the time we are not working from our priorities. And those of you who want to need some help in understanding our priorities, please go to my website vedicwisdom.in. Go to the workshop section. There is one workshop outline, some with a few details in terms of how to identify your priorities. Look at that, it will help you. The whole workshop is not there, but there is enough to start working on it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then he a little bit, couple of verses, 2-3 verses he gives in terms of the importance of a yaga, worship, etc. Okay, not completely, from one angle of it. Saha yajñāha praja srishtva purvavacha prajapatihi anena prasavidhvesham eshaha vo astu ashtakamaduk. Pura Srishti Samaye, in olden times, when this creation was done by Prajapati, the creator, Ishvara in the form of Brahmaji, the creator, when he created what? Prajaha, all the people, he created the yajna along with that, he says. This form of worship was created then. Therefore, how old is a yajna? As old as creation. How old is a Veda? As old as the creation. And he said, Puro Uvacha, Puraha eva, at that time, Uvacha, he said what? Anena prasivishedvam. Okay. May you prosper with this. Okay. Eshaha vo astu ishtakamaduk. May this be your wish fulfilling tree or wish fulfilling cow, Kamaduk. Okay. Yeah. May it grant you all your wishes. Why? Because, look at it. You have a desire, you work for it. Worldly actions. I want something more. This luck factor is always there. Na? Some of you are trying very hard, luck is not there. Okay, so what do? Just don't keep your fingers crossed. Fold them and say a prayer. That prayer is in the form of a yaga. The yaga alone will not give it to you. You need action. Action supported by worldly action. Worldly action supported by the yaga will become your wish fulfilling tree. He says. All your desires can be fulfilled with this. Because there are yagas meant for so many things. For every human desire, there is some yaga available. You want to get married? Swayamvara Parvati Homa. Okay. You want to get a child? Santana Gopal Homa. Okay. Or Putra Kameshti. But when will you go for Putra Kameshti? Not when you are a bachelor, okay? Not when you are single. First get married. Try to get a child the normal way. Not happening. Then you will go in for a medical checkup. See, everything is normal. Still not getting a child. Alright, there is some karmic block for you. Do this Putra Kameshti or Santana Gopala Homam. Things will work out well. Ishta Kama. Okay, in that sense we are talking about it. And somebody asked me, Swamiji, is there any guarantees that this will give you? Life does not come with guarantees. Okay? That's one thing I can guarantee you. That life does not come with guarantees. Okay? It is karma, action. When it is an action, there is many a slip between the cup and the lip. Everything has to be done exactly. May be done, may not be done. It depends on how much you know, how much the priest knows. Okay? Therefore, if it is all done well, yes, it should work. Unless your karma is so strong that it cannot work. That a good astrologer will tell you, no, in this lifetime you don't have children. Please don't waste your time and effort in doing all this and money. Only wasting your time. It's too strong. Your negative karma is too strong. Adopt, that much you can do. That option is still there. Therefore, a yaga, etc. doesn't guarantee you. But as it was said by Prajapati itself, okay, it will enhance your life, enhance your desire fulfillment. It's only meant for dharmartha kama. It is not meant for moksha. For moksha, I bring in the karma yoga attitude so that my mind gets ready. And then the knowledge also is revealed in the Vedas. That's the later half of the Vedas, the Upanishadic section, which reveals self-knowledge, Vedanta. And that will give you the moksha also. Then he is saying a few things here, okay? Devan bhavayetanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramamapsyataha. Devan bhavayatena anena. Honor the gods. It's an old Greek statement also. Honor the gods and keep your woman happy. Okay. Yeah. Same way here, honor the gods. Ishvara. Have that bhakti, etc. Acknowledge, honor. And those devas. Devatas is used in plural because you are invoking Ishvara in various aspects. As Lakshmi Kumara, as Santana Gopala, as Swayamvara Parvati. Different aspects of Ishvara. Therefore, plural is used. Not that gods are plural. Okay? When you honor them that way, honor Ishvara in that manner, in the manner that you approach, in that manner Ishvara will respond to you. He says, Bhavayantu te. The way you approach, in that way you will get your response. Therefore, parasparam bhavayantaha. You honor Ishvara, etc. in this manner, and Ishvara responds to you in that manner. Paramashreyamavapsya. All the way until moksha you can go. Why all the way into moksha? With the karma yoga attitude, you will take care of dharmartha kama. For dharmartha kama, you need lot of artha is. Dharma is a basic rule of law that happens everywhere. And life hereafter is also called dharma. Indicated by dharma as a purushartha. Artha are your securities that you need in life. Kama are the things of pleasure that you need. It is not they are all distinct. The same thing can become both. A house is an artha primarily meant for your security. You can lock the door and be safe inside. You sanitize the door entrance, etc. and sanitize your house. You are safe from the virus inside. Artha. You are safe from thieves, etc. Artha. The same house can be a kama also, because I want to decorate it the way I want it. It should reflect my taste, etc. Then it becomes kama as well. Therefore, artha kama can be both. Therefore, dharma artha kama you would fulfill by the yagas, your worldly action and religious action. Moksha, for moksha you come to the final section of the Vedas. Paramashrayas, the Upanishad section, which talks about what you are, what is reflected in the Gita as well. Therefore, he says, by this you can go all the way up to moksha. Live a life like this, with Karma Yoga Buddhi attitude, all the way up to moksha, you can go. Paramashrayam Vamsyataha. Then a little bit further is this thing, okay? Ishtan bhogan he vo devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha taddattan apradayebhyaha yo bhunte stena eva saha. Ishtan bhogan iha vo devaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha. Devaha yajna bhavitaha. Those devaha, different aspect, remember, not plural, different aspects of Ishvara. Bhavitaha, that you have invoked and worshipped in that manner. Ishtan bhogan iha dasyanti. They will offer you, they will bring to you the things that you wanted, that you prayed for. Therefore, be careful what you pray for, okay? Be careful what you pray for. Your prayers will be answered. Like it happened to someone whom I know. This lady was a teacher in a school. And there was a junior teacher who joined her. Very nice girl, very nice person. Okay. But your colleagues, one is senior, one is junior, but your colleagues, so they became quite friendly also. And this elder lady thought, I want this girl for my daughter-in-law. Okay. She's from a completely different background, culture, etc. But this lady didn't bother. I want her and her alone. But her son is saying, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in meeting her also. I'll find my own person. So this elderly lady, out of the two elderly, okay, came to a priest whom I know and told the priest, see, I want this girl for my daughter-in-law. My son wants to get married, but he's refusing to meet her. Can you do something, some puja, something, that I will get this girl only as my daughter-in-law? So the priest is a friend of mine. He's a very smart man, naturally. Those kiska after all. So he told her, be careful. Are you 100% sure you want her for a daughter-in-law? Yes, I'm 100% sure. Remember, she is treating you as a friend and a colleague now, and you want a friend and a colleague as your daughter-in-law. Are you sure of that? He says, yes, I'm very sure. Okay? You can't go back then. Okay? Right. So he did a small homa. Half an hour it took this. And at some function, the mother introduced the son to this colleague of hers. And they got talking and they liked each other, etc. They got married. This lady, mother is very happy. My prayers have been answered. But after that, she comes to me and cribs. Swamiji, the prayers worked, but she is not calling me Mama. I said, she was your colleague. How will she call you Mama? She was a colleague and your friend. Now overnight she's supposed to call you Mama. How will that happen? No, I wanted her as a daughter-in-law. You got a daughter-in-law. Your son is happy with her. She is happy with your son is happy with her. Why are you unhappy? You prayed for it, you got it. Are you getting the idea? Be careful what you pray for, because your prayers will be answered. Therefore he says, Dasyante yajna bhavitaha. Then, Taihi dattan apradeyo byaha. Okay. Now, when you have got that, what you want to. Yo bhungte, who enjoys that without offering your gratitude or sharing that prasada with others or offering your gratitude, he says, stena eva saha, he should be treated as a thief. He is considered like a thief, he says. Why? The God they given you are not even acknowledging it. It is not only that. Tell me anything that you get. Karma phala comes from Ishvara or doesn't come from Ishvara? Let us say you went to the office, worked, got your salary. Does Ishvara have a place there in that? Please answer. Does Ishvara have a place? How? Your ability to work is God given. Your intelligence was God given. Your opportunities that you got to enhance that intelligence with a great education is God given. That you got a job in difficult times is God given. That you managed to be successful in whatever you did, God given. That your company had enough to pay you that salary without a pay cut or even with a pay cut in today's time is God given. What is not God given? Therefore, if you are going to enjoy it saying, I have done it, without saying, Lord, thank you, I could do it, you are a thief. Exaggeration, yeah, not a thief, but it's exaggerated to highlight the necessity of Ishwararpanam all the way. Lord, thank you. That's why in our culture we had this, you know. When you got your first pay, where did it go? Look back in your life. Your first pay. Mother, okay. And what did your mother tell you at that time? Exactly. Offer it. Of temple or your puja corner, keep it there first. First, keep it there. See, this is how it came into our culture. It went into our psyche like that. Keep it in your mandir, in the home mandir, in the puja corner, keep it there. Offer it to Ishvara first. Then you can give it to me. Fine, I'll accept it. Why? Because I made this idiot into a Hulk. This newborn baby, I made him into a Hulk. Therefore, I'll accept it. But first, Ishvara. First right is Ishvara's. Only then everybody else. It's gone into your psyche that way. Because otherwise you're a thief, he says. This attitude is what we call bhakti. Bhakti is not just singing bhajans. That is also bhakti, alright. But bhakti manifests in various ways. And if you want to be a karma yogi, it has to come like this into your everyday life. See Ishvara's play in every little thing that you're doing. Ishvara's play, you have to see that. Yeah. And how that attitude of gratitude was so ingrained, culturally ingrained. So much so that sometimes I laugh at myself. Some student when gone abroad, come back, will give me a bar of chocolate. And I'll automatically go and keep it in my puja corner before taking it, and I laugh at myself. I said, okay, all right, fine. I'm going to enjoy it, but Lord, you enjoy it first. I'll enjoy it afterwards. Yeah. Why, even in the lockdown, I have this very sweet student, and she has got some mango trees at home, and she sent me the mangoes. Anjali. First is offered to the Lord before I take it. Before I eat it, is offered to the Lord first. It's natural. It's God given. Yeah. Are you getting the idea? That is why you don't enjoy anything without gratitude towards Ishvara, without acknowledging Ishvara. Okay? They say, otherwise you will be considered a thief, he says. Yeah, Ishvara and Bhagavan can be used interchangeably. Somebody asked a question. Can we use Ishvara and Bhagavan interchangeably? They are interchangeable. Okay, it means one and the same thing. I am using them instead of using God, Lord, etc. Though I also was brought up in a Catholic school, therefore it comes very naturally for me to say Lord or God, etc. But because of the nuance of those words, and I don't want people to have those nuances when you're studying Vedanta, I want to have the more appropriate, proper nuances that Vedanta talks about. I'm using the word Ishvara, Bhagavan, etc. Okay, then he is giving you one more verse, just putting the whole thing positively. Yajna shishtaha ashana santaha muchyante sarvakhil vishaihi bunjante tvagham papaha ye pachanti atma karanat. Say yajna shishtaha, what is left over after yaga? You did Ishvara Pranam Prasada Buddhi, either literally in a yaga or figuratively in life as a whole. Therefore, Sishtaha, what is left behind, the Prasadaha, Santaha, Ashinaha, Santaha, the one who eats that Prasadaha, meaning whatever has come, he enjoys as Prasadaha. Muchyante sarvakhil vishaihi. He is free from all papas, he says. All your negativities, anxiety, worry, the stress and strain of modern living. It's not only modern living, ancient living also had stress and strain, okay? Your primitive man also had stress and strain. Why? 3 days he has not eaten. He has not been lucky in a hunt. He also will pray, Bhagavan, today make my hunt successful. Let that deer fall to my arrows. Why? Bhuk lag raha hai. 3 दिन से खाया नहीं. He doesn't have stress or what? Stress and stress is always there, okay? That some other time I'll talk about stress. Therefore, sarva khilbishaihi muchyante, he says. Bunjante tvagam papam. But he eats all sin only. Who? Ye pachanti atma karana. Who cooks only for himself. Meaning, the more selfish you become, he says. He says, your food is like papaha, he says. What you are enjoying is like papaha. Because so many people have contributed to your success. So many things. The whole creation has contributed to your success. Therefore, if you cannot acknowledge that minimum, acknowledge and be grateful for that. Share it with people. If you cannot do that, then what are you? You are eating sin only. Papa karma only. And in today's world, if you have to earn something, you have to be competitive. Therefore, your gain is somebody else's loss. Somebody else has lost out for you to gain what you have. Especially those who are trading in the share market, etc. There is no creation of wealth. There is only trade. Money is exchanged. Therefore, what are you doing? Without acknowledging, without sharing, you are giving it. Like during the lockdown now, maids couldn't come for 2 months. Are you still paying your maid or you are not paying your maid? How many of us are paying our maid? Are we paying our maid for the 2 months she didn't come? Good. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent, because what will they do? How will they live? Yeah. I'm not a rich man, but I still pay my maid. Maid who comes, I said, I pay. Your job is safe, don't worry. You cannot come, I understand that. Yeah, but your job is safe, your salary is safe. If you want it right now, I will reach it to you. I will come and give it if you cannot come. Don't worry about it. Because, if you have got something, it's God's grace that you are not in that position of the maid, that you are in the position of an employer. That's the least we can do for them, as someone said. Yes? Minimum. If you can do more. Yeah. Like our ashrams are feeding 1,000 people in each ashram. All the poor who are jobless, they are being fed every day. Somewhere and somehow the money comes in. We send money, I send money. We send. Somewhere it comes in. Yeah. Because everyone has contributed. Nobody is so small that he cannot share something. Nobody is so big that he cannot receive something. That's why the old bhajan is there, na? Bikari sari duniya, data ek Ram. Yeah, I'm sure all of you have heard that, no? Sometime one day we will get Straboni or someone to sing that. Okay, yeah. Bikari sari duniya, data ek Ram. Which is true. Which is true. 100 people have contributed to my success. Ishvara's grace is there for my success. Therefore, minimum I acknowledge it and share my success with the people around me. That he says, Sarva Kilbishayi, that expands my heart up, makes my mind ready, open to receive this knowledge. This is what bhakti is about. And now somebody said, therefore only do this, don't give anything to a temple. That's also not true. The temple has its place in the society, its role to play. The temple is the inspiration for bhakti for everyone. Therefore, what you can offer to the temple, you offer to the temple. What you can offer to the people, you can offer to the people. Let your offerings be divided up among everyone. That's fine. Not a problem. This is modern secular nonsense that I should not offer to a temple, only build hospitals. And what's happening to the hospitals now? Without God's grace, even that will not work out. Even the hospital will not work out. Therefore, Ishvara's anugraha is necessary. Therefore, let everything be acknowledged and prayed. I want you all to think about it. Next time any doubts are there, we will see that. And the next talks about Ishvara's cosmic order. Okay? Ishvara's cosmic order. It is in very traditional manner. He says that we will see that in the traditional manner and in a modern manner also. Both we will see that next time. Om Tat Sat. Good place to stop. Take care, all of you.